It happens when you least expect it. You glance at the clock on your phone, the microwave, the dashboard of your car. And there it is. 11:11. At first, it's a coincidence. Then, it becomes a curiosity. A private joke with the universe. But then it keeps happening. Again and again. With a frequency that defies probability. And the feeling changes. It is no longer a coincidence. Feels like a signal. A message. A secret knock on the door of your reality. The hidden voice in your head, the logical narrator, rushes to explain it away. Confirmation bias. A trick of the mind. But a deeper part of you, the forgotten you, knows better. It feels the hum. It recognizes the signal. You have been told that seeing 11:11 is a sign from your angels, a moment to make a wish. But these are just the charming cover stories for a truth that is far more profound, far more personal, and far more powerful. It is not what you think. And once you understand its true meaning, you will realize it is not just a number you are seeing. It is a mirror. If you are ready to decipher the code that the universe has been sending you, if you are prepared to understand why your own consciousness is calling out to you through the language of numbers, then take a deep breath. We are about to step through the gateway. Subscribe and join this journey because the message of 11:11 is not from outside. It is from the deepest, most secret part of you. And it is a wake-up call you can no longer ignore. Part 1. The anatomy of a glitch. Before we decode the message, let us first honor the experience itself. Let us sit with the strange, uncanny, and deeply personal feeling of the 11:11 phenomenon. Because in the texture of that feeling lies the first clue to its meaning. Recall the last time it happened. Where were you? What were you doing? You were likely lost in the mundane, absorbed in the autopilot program of your day. Perhaps you were at your desk, staring blankly at a spreadsheet, your mind a million miles away, lost in a loop of worry about a deadline. Your body was on autopilot, your fingers clicking the mouse, but your consciousness was submerged in the fog of the simulation. And then, for no particular reason, you felt an impulse. A nudge. Just glance at the clock. And there it was. 11:11. What was the feeling in that precise moment? It wasn't just the recognition of a pattern. It was a jolt. A glitch in the matrix. For a split second, the background noise of your mind stopped. The endless chatter of the hidden voice fell silent. And in that silence, there was a feeling of being seen. A feeling of a direct, personal communication from the universe itself. It was as if the fabric of ordinary reality momentarily became transparent, and you glimpsed a hidden, intelligent order shimmering just behind it. It felt significant. It felt personal. Or perhaps it happened in a moment of distress. You were wrestling with a difficult decision, feeling lost, alone, and uncertain. You were pleading inwardly for a sign. A confirmation that you were on the right path, or a hint about which way to turn. You let out a sigh, you pick up your phone to distract yourself, and the screen illuminates with the numbers, 11:11. In that moment, what did you feel? A wave of relief? A sense of comfort? The feeling of a prayer being answered? It felt like a wink from the divine, a quiet reassurance that you are not alone, that you are being guided, that your silent plea has been heard in the vastness of the cosmos. The numbers themselves seemed to glow with a meaning far beyond their simple mathematical function. They became a symbol of hope. A digital hieroglyph from your own soul. This experience is the key. The phenomenon is not about the numbers themselves. It is about the interruption. It is about the pattern interrupt that pulls your consciousness out of its habitual state of amnesia and into a momentary state of heightened presence. The 11:11 is a trigger, a cosmic alarm clock, designed to jolt you awake from the dream of the ordinary. It is a bug in the software of your mundane reality, a crack in the program, that momentarily reveals the existence of the programmer, the dreamer, the hidden intelligence that is orchestrating the show. The logical mind, the guardian of the simulation, cannot tolerate this mystery. It must explain it away. It reaches into its file of rationalizations and offers you a series of plausible, but ultimately soulless, explanations. It calls it apophenia, the tendency to perceive meaningful patterns in random data. It calls it confirmation bias, the brain's habit of noticing things that confirm what it is already looking for. And on a purely neurological level, it may be right. But it is missing the deeper question. Why are you suddenly looking for this pattern? Why has your consciousness chosen this specific numerical sequence as a trigger for awakening? The scientific explanation describes the mechanism, but it completely ignores the meaning. It describes the bell, but it has no understanding of why the bell is being rung. The truth is, the feeling is the message. That jolt of recognition, that sense of significance, that feeling of being seen by a hidden intelligence. That is the communication. The numbers are just the doorbell. The real question is, who is ringing it and from which side of the door? Part 2. Angels, wishes and surface meanings. Before we can grasp the core esoteric truth of the 1111 phenomenon, we must first pass through the outer courts of the temple. We must examine the popular, more accessible interpretations that have sprung up around these numbers. These are not wrong, but they are veils. They are simplified, symbolic stories that hint at a deeper reality without revealing its full, staggering power. They are the children's picture book version of a profound metaphysical text. The most common and most comforting interpretation is that 1111 is a sign from your angels, spirit guides, or deceased loved ones. It is seen as a message of love and support from the unseen realms. They are letting you know they are with you, that they are watching over you, that you are on the right path. When you see 1111, this interpretation suggests you should feel a sense of comfort, of being protected and loved. This is a beautiful and often helpful belief. It provides solace in times of loneliness and grief. And on one level it is true. The universe is loving and supportive. There are intelligences in other dimensions that are assisting humanity. But this interpretation still operates within a paradigm of separation. It posits the source of the message as being external to you. The angels are out there, sending a signal to you in here. It maintains the duality of a helper and one who needs help. While comforting, it keeps you in the position of being a child, receiving messages from a benevolent parent, rather than realizing you are a co-creator with the intelligence that sends the message. The second popular interpretation is that 1111 is a wishing gate. The folk wisdom says that if you catch the clock at 1111, you should close your eyes and make a wish. It is seen as a magical, auspicious moment when the veil between worlds is thin, and your intentions have more power. Again, there is a kernel of truth here. The moment of seeing 1111 is a moment of power. It is a moment when your consciousness has been momentarily lifted into a state of heightened presence, and in that state your intentions are more potent. But the idea of making a wish reduces a profound act of creation to a form of spiritual gambling. It is still based on the old model of asking and hoping, of sending a desire out into the universe and crossing your fingers that it will be granted. It misses the deeper hermetic truth that you do not wish for a reality, you embody it. You do not ask the universe for something, you command the universe by becoming the feeling of the thing itself. The wishing gate interpretation is a charming but ultimately disempowering simplification of the real creative technology at play. Finally, there is the numerological interpretation. In numerology, the number 11 is a master number. It represents intuition, spiritual insight, idealism, and revelation. It is the number of the visionary, the channel, the one who bridges the seen and unseen worlds. The number 1 represents new beginnings, originality, and the individual will. When you see 1111, the numerological reading is that you are being called to step into your spiritual power, to trust your intuition, and to begin a new phase of your life that is in greater alignment with your soul's purpose. This interpretation comes much closer to the core truth. It correctly identifies the energy and symbolism of the numbers themselves. It understands 1111 as a call to spiritual awakening. But even this can remain an intellectual exercise. It can become just another interesting piece of information for the mind to collect. It tells you what the signal means, but it does not fully reveal how the signal is generated or what its ultimate implication is for your own identity. These three interpretations are like beautiful, stained glass windows in the outer walls of the temple. They are lovely to look at, and the light that shines through them is colored with beauty and comfort. But they are not the open door. They are still representations of the truth, not the truth itself. To find the truth, we must walk past them into the inner sanctum, and realize that the source of the light shining through the windows is coming from the altar of our own heart. Part 3. The esoteric truth, the resonance of alignment. Now let us step through the veil. Let us move beyond the comforting stories and into the raw, living physics of the phenomenon. The esoteric truth, the secret that was buried, is this. The 1111 is not a message being sent to you. It is a mirror reflecting your own state of consciousness back to you. It is a feedback loop. Let's break this down. As we have explored, the universe is not a collection of separate objects. It is a single unified field of vibrating energy and information. A holographic field. Your consciousness is not separate from this field, it is a focal point within it. And your dominant state of being, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, is constantly broadcasting a specific frequency, a specific vibrational signature into this field. Most of the time, your consciousness is running on the default program of the ego. It is in a state of chaos, of incoherence. Your thoughts are scattered, your emotions are reactive, your energy is contracted. In this state, you are out of tune with the underlying harmony of the universe. The feedback you get from the world is a reflection of this inner chaos, struggle, conflict, frustration. But there are moments, often fleeting and unconscious, when something shifts. Perhaps you have a sudden, spontaneous thought of pure, selfless love for another person. Perhaps you feel a moment of profound gratitude for the simple beauty of a cloud. Perhaps you have a flash of creative insight that seems to come from nowhere. Or perhaps you simply enter a state of deep presence, where the chattering mind falls silent for a second. In that moment, for that brief instant, your personal energy field shifts. It moves from a state of incoherence to a state of coherence. Your heart and your brain synchronize. Your vibration rises. You become, for a moment, in tune. You are in a state of alignment with your true self, your soul, your divine blueprint. And what happens when you enter this state of alignment? You become a resonant antenna for the fundamental harmony of the universe itself. The universe, which is a mathematical, geometric, and harmonic structure at its core, suddenly sees you. Your alignment with the source code of reality creates a powerful resonance. And how does the holographic field, the great mirror of the cosmos, reflect this moment of alignment back to you? It shows you a symbol of that alignment. It shows you a symbol of perfect, harmonious, mirrored order. It shows you a number that looks like a gateway, like two pillars standing in perfect symmetry. It shows you 1111. The feeling of being seen when you see the number is accurate. But you are not being seen by an angel. You are being seen by yourself. It is the universe, which is not separate from you, acknowledging your own momentary return to your true coherent nature. The impulse to look at the clock, at that exact moment, is not a coincidence. It is a synchronistic orchestration. Your own higher self, your own deeper intelligence, knows that you have just entered a state of alignment. And it gives your egoic mind a gentle nudge. Look now. It does this to help your conscious mind make the connection. It is trying to teach you, through this repeating pattern, what alignment feels like. It is saying, see? That feeling you just had? That thought? That is the path. That is your true north. Do more of that. So, 1111 is not a message from without. It is evidence from within. It is a biofeedback signal from the cosmos. It is the universe taking a snapshot of your own beautiful, momentary coherence and showing it to you. It is a love letter, written by your soul, delivered by the universe to your own front door. It is not just a sign that you are on the right path. It is a reflection of you being on the right path, in that very instant. Part 4. The authority, the universe as number and thought. This understanding, that numbers are not just symbols for quantity, but are fundamental, creative principles of the universe, is one of the most ancient and profound of the buried teachings. The modern, secular mind, this seems like mystical nonsense. But to the great sages and philosophers of the past, it was self-evident. The Greek philosopher and mystic Pythagoras, who lived in the 6th century BCE, is famous for his theorem in geometry, but his true, esoteric teaching was far deeper. His central doctrine was all is number. He did not mean that everything could be measured by numbers. He meant that everything at its core is number. He taught that numbers were not human inventions, but divine principles, the archetypes upon which the cosmos was built. Each number, from 1 to 10, carried a specific vibrational essence, a specific creative power. The number 1 represented unity, the origin, the monad. The number 2 represented duality, polarity, reflection. The number 4 represented stability, matter, the manifest world. The universe, for the Pythagoreans, was a living, breathing musical and mathematical harmony, a cosmos, and to understand numbers was to understand the mind of God. This same wisdom is found at the heart of the Kabbalah, the mystical tradition of Judaism. The Kabbalistic map of creation, the tree of life, is composed of 10 divine emanations, or sephirot. These are not just abstract concepts. They are the 10 primordial numbers, the 10 fundamental ways in which the one infinite Godhead, Ein Sof, makes itself known in the process of creation. Each sephira is a dimension of consciousness, a vortex of intelligent energy. The entire path of the Kabbalist is to learn how to navigate this inner, numerical architecture of the divine, to journey through the sephirot in their own soul and thus return to the source. Now, let us apply this ancient wisdom to the 1111 phenomenon. The number 1 in these traditions represents the self, the will, the undivided point of origin. It is the first assertion of being, I am. The number 11, as a master number, is the amplification of this. It represents the individual self, 1, standing face to face with the divine self, 1. It is the microcosm looking into the macrocosm and recognizing itself. It is the ultimate symbol of the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. It represents two pillars, two temples standing side by side, forming a gateway. When you see 1111, you are seeing a numerical representation of this sacred alignment. The first, 11, represents the gateway on the macrocosmic universal level. The second, 11, represents the gateway on the microcosmic personal level. It is a moment when the gateway above, in the field of potential, and the gateway below, in your own consciousness, are in perfect, resonant alignment. It is a portal in time, a moment when the veil between worlds is exceptionally thin, precisely because you have become momentarily aligned with your own true unified nature. This brings us back to the first Hermetic principle we unearthed: the all is mind, the universe is mental. If the universe is a great thought, then its underlying structure, its syntax, its grammar is mathematics. Numbers are the language of the universal mind. Therefore, when you keep seeing 1111, it is not a coincidence. It is the universal mind, which is not separate from your own mind, speaking to you in its native tongue. It is using the universal, archetypal language of number to reflect a profound truth back to you. In this moment, you are in alignment. In this moment, you are standing at a gateway. In this moment, you have remembered who you are. The authority for this truth is not found in an external book. It is found in your own direct experience, validated by the perennial wisdom that has whispered for millennia that the universe does not just contain numbers, the universe is number. And you are learning to read its beautiful, luminous, and deeply personal code. Part 5. The 1111 Protocol, a call to presence. So, what are we to do when this signal appears? How do we engage with this cosmic wake-up call in a way that moves us from being a passive observer to an active participant? We need a protocol. A conscious response that honors the significance of the moment and uses it as a springboard for deeper awakening. The hidden voice of the ego has its own protocol. When it sees 1111, its protocol is to either dismiss it, what a coincidence, or to engage in a form of spiritual materialism, quick, make a wish. Both of these responses miss the point entirely. They keep you trapped in the old program. The protocol of the soul, the protocol of the awakened traveler, is completely different. It is a protocol of presence, inquiry, and affirmation. Let's call it the 1111 protocol. Step 1. Stop and breathe. The very moment you see 1111, no matter what you are doing, stop. If you are walking, stop walking. If you are working, take your hands off the keyboard. If you are talking, pause the conversation. This physical act of stopping breaks the hypnotic momentum of your autopilot program. And then take one single, slow, conscious breath. Breathe in deeply and exhale completely. This breath is an anchor. It pulls your scattered awareness out of the phantom worlds of past and future and anchors it firmly in the reality of the present moment. This first step, in itself, is a powerful act of reclaiming your attention. Step 2. Acknowledge and feel gratitude. In the quiet space created by the stop and the breath, silently acknowledge the signal. You can say inwardly, "Thank you. I see it. I am paying attention." And feel a genuine wave of gratitude. Gratitude for the reminder. Gratitude for the loving intelligence of the universe. Gratitude for your own soul, which is calling you home. This feeling of gratitude immediately raises your vibration and puts you into a state of heart coherence, making you even more receptive to the deeper message. Step 3. Inquire, what was I just thinking/feeling? This is the crucial step of self-awareness. The 1111 is a cosmic highlighter pen, drawing your attention to your state of being in that exact moment. So, you ask the question, what was the content of my consciousness in the second before I saw the numbers? The answer may be surprising. Perhaps you were lost in a negative thought loop, a story of worry or self-criticism. In this case, the 1111 is a gentle but firm course correction. It's your higher self saying, notice this program you are running. This is not you. This is not your truth. Let it go now. Wake up from this negative trance. Or perhaps you were in a positive, expansive state. You were feeling love, you had a creative idea, you were feeling a sense of peace. In this case, the 1111 is a confirmation. It is your higher self saying, yes. This feeling, this thought, this state of being, this is alignment. This is your true north. Anchor this feeling. Remember it. This is the frequency of your soul. Step 4. Affirm and anchor. Based on your inquiry, you complete the protocol with a conscious affirmation. If the signal was a course correction, your affirmation could be something simple like, I release this old program. I choose peace now. If the signal was a confirmation, your affirmation could be, I anchor this feeling of love and alignment in my being. This is who I am. This entire protocol takes less than a minute, but its power is immense. You are transforming a random, passive event into a conscious, active spiritual practice. You are creating a new neural pathway, a new habit. The habit is, when the universe rings the bell, I answer the call. This protocol is a technology for self-remembrance. It is a tool for waking up, moment by moment, from the cultural trance. If you are ready to commit to this practice, to transform every 11:11 sighting from a curiosity into a sacred moment of reconnection, then let's seal this intention. Click the like button. Let it be your yes to the protocol. Your yes to answering the call. By doing so, you are not just helping this message reach others. You are programming your own subconscious mind with the intent to wake up every time the alarm rings. Part 6. The Gateway. Stepping between the pillars. Let us now explore the deeper, archetypal symbolism of the number itself. For 11:11 is not just a random sequence. It is a profound geometric and spiritual symbol. It is a gateway. Look at the shape of the number, 11:11. You see two sets of twin pillars. In the ancient mystery schools, from the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem to the Luxor Temple in Egypt, the entrance to the most sacred space, the Holy of Holies, was always flanked by two pillars. These pillars, often named Jachin and Boaz in the Hebrew tradition, represented the two great polarities of existence. They represent the masculine and the feminine, the sun and the moon, the light and the dark, the conscious and the subconscious, the will and the surrender. To pass through the gateway of the two pillars was to symbolically transcend duality. It was to enter a state of unity, of wholeness, of integration. It was to enter the sacred space where the opposites are reconciled and the one is revealed. When you see 11:11, you are being shown this gateway. It is a cosmic invitation, appearing in the fabric of your daily life, reminding you that you are standing at a threshold. You are standing between two worlds. The world of the old, dualistic, egoic program, the world of separation and fear, and the world of the new, unified consciousness, the world of love and unity. The number is a question. Will you remain outside in the world of opposites? Or will you have the courage to step through the pillars, into the holy of holies of your own being? The first, 11, can be seen as the outer gateway. It is the synchronized moment in the outer world, the numbers on the clock. It is the call from the macrocosm. The second, 11, is the inner gateway. It is your own inner state of alignment. It is the two principles within you, your own inner masculine and feminine, your own mind and heart, standing in a momentary state of perfect harmony and balance. The 11:11 phenomenon is a moment when the outer gateway and the inner gateway align perfectly. A portal opens. And in that moment you have an extraordinary opportunity. You can consciously choose to step through. How do you do this? You do it by performing the 11:11 protocol we just discussed. The act of stopping, breathing, becoming present, and consciously choosing your state of being is the act of walking through the gateway. You are choosing, in that moment, to step out of the reactive, dualistic program of the ego and into the conscious, unified reality of your soul. Think of your life. You are at a crossroads. Behind you is the world of your past conditioning, of your old stories, of your pain. Before you is a future that can be a simple repetition of that past, or it can be something entirely new. The 11:11 is the signpost at that crossroads. It is the universe showing you, here. Here is the door to the new timeline. Here is the gateway out of your repeating loops. The door is open for you now. Do you have the courage to walk through? Every time you see it and you consciously choose presence over distraction, you are taking a step through that gateway. You are casting a vote for a new reality. You are strengthening your connection to the unified field and weakening your allegiance to the world of separation. The numbers are not magic. You are the magic. The numbers are just the architecture of the doorway. You are the one who must choose to walk through it. And the more often you see the gateway, the more you are being invited to make that choice, to leave the old world behind and to begin inhabiting the new world of the awakened heart. Part 7. A Code of Light, the activation of a new program. Let us now journey even deeper, into a realm where spirituality and biology become indistinguishable. What if the 11:11 signal is more than just a psychological prompt or a symbolic gateway? What if it is a literal, energetic transmission? A packet of information, a burst of light code designed to interact directly with your human hardware? Let us return to the understanding that your DNA is not a fixed, static blueprint. It is a living, crystalline, biological antenna. It is constantly receiving and transmitting information from the quantum field. The vast majority of your DNA, over 95%, is what mainstream science has in its ignorance labeled junk DNA, simply because it does not code for proteins. But the esoteric traditions and a growing number of renegade scientists know that this junk DNA is not junk at all. It is a dormant, high-level biological computer. It is a living library containing the history of the universe, the blueprint for your divine human potential, and the latent capacities for abilities you would consider superhuman. Telepathy, instant healing, conscious creation. This higher dimensional DNA is largely dormant in most of humanity. It is waiting for a specific frequency, a specific energetic key to be turned on. It is waiting for an activation code. Now, let us consider the 1111 phenomenon from this perspective. What if the numbers are not just a visual symbol, but a representation of a specific geometric and harmonic frequency of light? A frequency that is designed to resonate with and ping this dormant DNA. Imagine the 1111 as a key. A very specific, geometrically shaped key made of light. And imagine your dormant DNA as a very specific lock. When your consciousness enters that momentary state of alignment and coherence, you become a perfect receiver for this frequency. The key is broadcast from the field, and for a moment, it fits perfectly into the lock. Click. An activation occurs. A tiny packet of light-based information is downloaded. A dormant gene sequence is pinged and begins to gently vibrate, preparing to come online. A new subroutine in your divine human software is initiated. You may not feel this consciously. It is incredibly subtle. But afterwards you might notice small changes. A greater sense of peace. A sudden intuitive insight. An old, negative pattern of behavior that simply falls away without effort. A new sensitivity to the energy of people and places. You are being upgraded bit by bit, light code by light code. This is why the signal often appears during times of intense personal growth or global shifting. The volume of the signal is being turned up in the collective field. The activation codes are being broadcast with greater intensity to assist in the Great Awakening. And those who are sensitive, those who are doing their inner work to become more coherent, are the ones who are picking up the signal most frequently. When you see 1111, you are not just being reminded to wake up. You are being actively assisted in your waking up. You are receiving a spiritual software update. The 1111 protocol, stopping, breathing, feeling gratitude, is your way of consciously accepting the download. You are opening your system and saying, yes, I am ready. Install the new program now. This reframes the experience entirely. It is not a passive, cute phenomenon. It is an active, biological, and energetic event of profound significance. You are participating in your own evolution. You are a collaborator in the activation of a new kind of humanity, a humanity that has remembered its luminous nature and its divine potential. The numbers are the calling card of the celestial programming team. And the team is you, your higher self, working in concert with the intelligence of the cosmos, to reboot your own divine human operating system. Part 8. The silence of the signal. The training wheels come off. There is a common and often painful experience on this path. You begin to wake up. You start seeing 1111 everywhere. It becomes your constant, comforting companion, a daily reminder that you are on the right track, that you are loved and guided. It is thrilling. It is validating. And then, it stops. The clock that seemed to be winking at you constantly now just shows you random, meaningless numbers. The synchronicities seem to dry up. The universe, which felt like it was in a constant, personal dialogue with you, seems to have fallen silent. The hidden voice of the ego immediately rushes in to interpret this silence. And its interpretation is always one of fear and self-judgment. You did something wrong. You've lost the connection. You've fallen off the path. The angels are disappointed in you. You're not special anymore. This can be a moment of profound spiritual crisis, a dark night, where you feel abandoned and lost. But the forgotten truth, the higher perspective, is the exact opposite. The fading of the outer signal is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of success. It is a sign of graduation. The numbers, the outer synchronicities, were like training wheels on a bicycle. They were necessary and wonderful when you were first learning to balance in this new higher state of consciousness. They provided the external support and confirmation you needed to trust the process, to believe that you weren't crazy. They were a constant, external reminder to come back to the present moment, to check in with your own vibration. But you are not meant to ride with training wheels forever. The goal is not to become dependent on the training wheels. The goal is to learn how to balance on your own. When the 1111 sightings begin to fade, it is because your own inner guidance system, your own intuitive connection to your soul, has become strong enough that you no longer need the constant external prompts. The universe is showing its trust in you. It is saying, you've got this now. You no longer need me to ring the doorbell every 5 minutes. You have learned to live with the door open. You have learned to recognize the feeling of alignment from the inside, without needing the mirror of the outside to confirm it for you. The silence of the signal is the universe taking the training wheels off your bike. For a moment, it feels wobbly, terrifying. You feel like you are going to fall. You miss the security of the old support. But this is the moment you must trust your own balance. This is the moment you must move from relying on the outer compass to navigating by your inner one. So, if you are in this phase, do not despair. Celebrate. You have passed an important initiation. The work now is to cultivate an even deeper trust in your own inner knowing. It is to learn to find the feeling of alignment, the 1111 feeling, without the trigger of the numbers. It is the practice of becoming your own oracle, your own guide. The teacher has stepped back so that the student can become the master. The outer voice has fallen silent so that you can finally, fully hear the unwavering voice of the forgotten you within. The silence is not an absence. It is a promotion. Part 9. From receiver to transmitter, becoming the 1111. This leads us to the penultimate stage of this journey. The great shift from being a passive receiver of the signal to becoming a conscious, active transmitter of it. You are no longer just a lighthouse that sees other lighthouses. You are now ready to become a lighthouse that intentionally guides others. You stop just seeing 1111. You start being 1111. What does this mean? It means that you have so fully integrated the state of alignment that it becomes your natural, default state of being. Your inner masculine and feminine are in a state of perpetual, loving union. Your heart and your mind are in a state of constant coherence. You are a walking, talking embodiment of the gateway. Your very presence becomes an activation for others. People will be drawn to you, often without knowing why. They will feel a sense of peace in your presence. They will find themselves speaking their own truth more freely around you. They will have sudden insights or emotional releases just by being in your energy field. You are not doing anything to them. Your coherent electromagnetic field is simply offering their incoherent field a resonant pattern to tune to. You are the tuning fork, and their own soul string begins to vibrate in harmony with you. You become a glitch in other people's simulations. Your authenticity, your peace, your non-reactivity, is so out of place in the normal, fear-based program that it creates a pattern interrupt for them. It makes them question their own reality. Your joy, for no apparent external reason, is a mystery that their egoic mind cannot solve. Your compassion in the face of their anger is a response that their program cannot compute. You become a living paradox, a walking koan. Your words become transmissions of light code. Because you are speaking from a place of alignment, your words carry a powerful vibrational frequency. You can say a simple, ordinary sentence, but it will land with a profound weight and meaning for the person who is ready to hear it. You are no longer just sharing information, you are transmitting consciousness. This is not a state of perfection. You are still in a human costume. You will still have challenges. But you meet them from a completely different place. You are the eye of the hurricane. The storm may rage around you, but your core is still. And that stillness is a beacon of hope and possibility for everyone who is still being tossed about by the storm. This is the Bodhisattva path. The path of the one who, having achieved their own liberation, chooses to remain in the world to help all beings awaken. It is a state of profound, joyful service. But it is a service that is performed not through striving and doing, but through simply being. Being the light. Being the peace. Being the gateway. Being the 1111. You no longer look at the clock for a sign. You have become the sign. And other souls, the ones who are just beginning to see the numbers, the ones who are just starting to feel the sacred ache, will look at you, and in you, they will see a reflection of their own possible, magnificent future. Part 10. The Epiphany, the Dreamer and the Clock. And so we arrive at the end of all our searching, at the final, silent and most mind-shattering revelation of all. We have decoded the signal, we have stepped through the gateway, we have even become the gateway itself. But now we must ask the final question, the one that dissolves the entire structure of the mystery. Who is it that is seeing the numbers? And who is orchestrating the signal? We have believed ourselves to be the consciousness that is perceiving a meaningful pattern in an external reality called time, represented by a clock. But we have already discovered that time is an illusion, a construct of the mind. And we have discovered that the external world is a mirror of our inner state. So what is the clock? And what are the numbers? The final epiphany is this. The entire phenomenon of 1111 is a beautiful, intricate, and loving game that you, the one infinite consciousness, are playing with yourself. You are the dreamer, dreaming you are a separate person lost in a world of time. And in your own dream you have written a secret code. You have embedded a repeating, symbolic pattern into the dream's fabric. You have created a trail of breadcrumbs for yourself. What? To help you remember that you are dreaming. The 1111 is a lucid dreaming trigger designed by you for you. It is a prearranged alarm clock, set before you fell asleep, to go off at key moments in the dream to remind you of your true nature. You are not the person seeing the numbers on the clock. You are the consciousness that is dreaming the person, the clock, and the numbers. The feeling of being seen by a higher intelligence is correct. That higher intelligence is your own, forgotten, infinite self. The dreamer. The signal is not coming from angels or guides in some other dimension. It is coming from the deepest level of your own being, from a part of you that has never for a moment been lost in the dream. The entire universe is your mind. The clock is a thought form within your mind. And the numbers are symbols you are projecting onto that thought form to catch your own attention. It is the ultimate cosmic game of hide and seek. You are hiding from yourself and you are leaving clues for yourself to find your way home. And in this final, breathtaking recognition, the entire phenomenon dissolves into a beautiful, cosmic smile. The search for meaning in the numbers ends, because you realize you are the one who infused them with meaning in the first place. You are the clockmaker, the coder, and the observer of the code. They are not separate. They are all you. There is no more need to look for signs. You are the sign. There is no more need to wait for a wake-up call. You are the one who is ringing the bell. There is no more need to decode the message. You are the message. And the message is simple. Wake up. Remember. You are free. The alarm has served its purpose. You are awake. The numbers were the key, but the door was always within you. And now it stands wide open. If this journey of remembrance has helped you to finally understand the message in the numbers, subscribe and continue to walk in this awakened state with us. The time for seeking signs is over. The time for being the sign has begun.